Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Next Level Real Talk Podcast, where we have conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness with Sheldon and David. And welcome back to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. What's up, Dave?
Not much. It was a great week. How was your week?
That was awesome. Had a great week. Yeah, went by all too fast, though.
Yeah, you know what? Same here. It was great weather this week in Phoenix, so we're getting back into the beautiful tropical 70s. So it's nice, and we'll hopefully stay there for a while, not get into the 90s. But good week. Everything went well, and some good things happened at work, and it was awesome.
Yeah, and we always talk about, that part of what we're trying to do is tools for finding peace, inner transformation, right? How do you have peace in your daily life and find a
Hmm.
little more peace and happiness? And I think that sometimes just talking about what comes up in the middle of our day in our daily life can hopefully provide insights, inspiration, perhaps for other people when they're dealing with stuff in their life. And I think that you had some stuff you wanted to share, right? About some things that just
Yeah,
sort of came up in the course of your day and how you were dealing with them and stuff like that.
yeah, and yeah. So Sheldon and I have talked about before on several podcasts about how we want you to go and just take that moment of meditation. Stop, drop, and breathe. Drop in to your heart and breathe. Take that minute, take that 2 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever you're at, um, and take that time because that helps rejuvenate, recharge you at that moment. Sometimes you need a lot more. I need mine every period when I was, every hour after each class, I did it. Some can do it, hey, just do it twice or three times a day, which is good. Depends on what you're going through. I mean, I went through that and had to have it every end of class period. Then it became okay every couple of periods. But then again, I do go back to that. I need this. Okay, right now, stop, drop in, and breathe. But now we're going to expand it because I experienced something this week and was like, wow, that's doing that, but expanding it into a little bit more. Um, so as we talk about doing it, every hour or every other hour or every 3 times a day. Um, so at work, my media tech, Lilia. Hi, Lilia out there. Shout out because she's awesome. Love her to death. So she's in the process of retiring. It's nothing new, nothing, nobody knows about. So I can say it on the podcast. So,
No
yeah,
secret.
nope. It was for a while. We kept it a little quiet, but, it's like, I'm okay, I'll let you do it. So the word's out. And I can say this: her husband has been going through some things. He's older, and he's been sick, and so she's been worried about him. And then she has some ailments here and there. Nothing major. It's not like it's cancer, not it's anything like that. It's just just age, and they have to do stuff. And so, as I mentioned before, the library is not a stressful job. It's not. It can be at times, but when one of us is gone, because I'm gone too, sometimes for meets or sometimes for practice, so the other one has to kind of take on a double duty, and that kind of stresses you out. Kind of keeps you like, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this, but now I got to take care of this because no one's here to help me. Um, and Monday, well, it had been building up. Uh, Lily's been stressing about her husband. She's taking time off, taking some time in the middle of the day to go do that, and then taking some days off, and so then that was kind of hard because then I'm like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, and it was weird because we both. She was stressed out because of retirement, having to figure out what she's going to do with it because it's not easy when you retire because you got to start figuring out all this paperwork, all these numbers, and what am I going to do? Which do I pick? Um, so retirement, her husband being sick, her having issues, and then just work itself. The things going on at work. Started the work stuff started to get harder because everything else is going on, and so and in that sort of stressed me out. She'd take some days off, which she needed to, which she has days she could take the rest of the semester off. And she'd take them, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I had something planned this afternoon. So then that makes me stay an hour and a half later than I usually stay, which is okay. I don't mind doing that. It's just, I had something planned. And so she'd taken some, days here and there, never back to back. But and so Monday, I knew she was going to take Monday off all day. And so she took Monday, said, go. Because she'd make phone calls. She had stuff at work to do. And I go, just go home and do it. I'm okay with that. So Monday, she took off, did a bunch of stuff. She comes back Tuesday, and it was a different person. She was a different person. And I was like, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh, I'm doing great. I go, how much you get done? You get a lot done? And she goes, I got a lot done. And I go, yeah, you know what? You're home away from this. No one's interrupting you and you can relax. Make a phone call, relax. Make a phone call, relax. I go, so, and at that point, I started feeling relief. in the work
Yeah.
relationship, And I was going like, wow. And I started thinking about like, wow, we all need to take that moment, stop, drop, and breathe. But wait a minute, stop, drop, take the day off and breathe. I'm not saying go take a week off because you need to go, to do whatever, but take a day just to have a day for you.
Yeah.
And that allows you to get things in order. I'll bring my example. For me, at end of the swim season, it gets busy nonstop. Boom, boom, boom. I've got paperwork to do. I'm doing the library stuff. I'm doing the paperwork for the swim team. We're getting things ready for state. I'm helping out organize the state. Um, and so chores aren't getting done around the house, which is not. It's not like it's a come in and I need some company to come in and clean up my house. It's just there's piles of stuff. There's stuff I need to do, and it's like I come home like, oh, and instead of, I go, okay, this is what I need to do. I'll make a list. Okay, I need to mop. I need to vacuum, dust, and mop. Okay, those are three things I want to do. Okay, and so everyone's different. So I'll make a list and say I'll make those three, and then every room I'm doing it in. And so then it's okay. Mop the whole, I dust the whole house. Check off as I dust something, I dust it. Check it off. Then
Yeah.
I go to the vacuum, checked off, whatever room I did, and then I mop. Someone may say, okay, I'm just going to do the room. I'm going to dust the room, vacuum the room, mop the room. That's
Yeah.
okay. Whatever
However.
checklist you can do it. And that when I do that after the season, I'm going like, oh wow, at least I'm making progress somewhere. I'm doing something. Um, and so that was what with her, she needed to just get home and organize herself and just take a time to relax, get the things done she needed to do by phone calls, by doing paperwork, whatever she needed to do for him and for retirement, but without the stress of work. And so that changed our whole relationship. And then this week we talked, and I said, I need you to take a day every week. Why not? I go, you got enough time. You're retiring. Go work on that stuff. Your husband's sick. You know, go be with them.
Yeah.
Go. But just let me. I go, just let me know what days it are, what days they are, because then I can plan.
Yeah.
Like if it's Mondays, great. I just know I'm not going to get home, and I'm not going to work until 4 on Mondays.
Yeah.
That's fine. Adjust the workout schedule, or just dinner with a friend. That's okay. At least I can adjust that.
Yeah.
And so now we've got that conversation going. We've always written down on the calendar what we've done, but then she started needing days, and that changed everything. So at
Yeah.
least that has helped us, help me go like, okay, I know when she's going to be gone. And she told me yesterday, I'll be gone this Monday. Cool. I've already adjusted my stuff for Monday,
It
you know?
it reminds me of it with my work when I'm training managers,
Hmm.
and, leaders for our company, our organization, if they're, gonna write somebody up for lack of performance, creating an
Hmm.
action plan like, "Hey, you're underperforming in this role, and we want you to do
Oh.
something," right? And you're formally writing somebody up. Part of the discussion in the outline for that are these free services that the company offers. It's counseling services, free counseling services, legal services, financial planning services, and
Hmm.
there are all these things, and the reason that we put that in the write-up is oftentimes those stresses outside of work leak into work and affect that person's ability to do
Hmm.
the work. In other words, they're worried about maybe they're going through a divorce and they're worried about, the divorce or whatever it is, right? Or
Hmm.
um, like somebody's, health isn't going well, and maybe you need counseling or, a therapist to talk to you or whatever,
Yep.
right? And those outside
Hmm.
things get brought into your work. And if you can help that person deal with those outside things, then their work performance goes up, right? Kind of what you
Exactly.
did, take the time. She takes the time, she fixes
Hmm.
everything that she needs to with her personal life, and all of a sudden she's more present and available to actually
Yeah.
work better at
Mhm.
work, right? And obviously then her
And
quality of life is going up, and it's an act of
yeah.
love too, love and care for somebody, right? It's just like, "Hey."
Mhm. Overall quality of life,
Yeah,
work,
yeah,
family, whatever. And on that note, when I was going through my first found out that Kristen wanted a divorce, um, that was obviously very trying for me. So I was trying to focus, and I couldn't. At the end of the day, going like, I just need to get home. I needed to sleep, or I needed to let my brain relax. And my boss, my principal, uh, I remember in the room, and he was praying with me, crying with me. I'm like, wow, this is kind of I love it. But he goes, okay. I go, but dude, I go, I'm such a mess at the end of the day, and I was done at 2:30 because of coaching. And so he goes, "Go home." I go, "Yeah, we got to be here till 3:30 at least." He's like, "No, you don't. I know why you're leaving." He goes, "You do your job. If you don't do your job, then I'll make you stay. But you do your job every day, every time." He goes, "When you're done with school, go home." And he goes, "'Cause I don't care what everybody says. Don't care about what it." He goes, "You don't care about it. Please don't,
Yeah.
because I know you're going to rejuvenate.
Yeah.
That's going to allow you to be great for the next day. And I know if I make you stay, you're not going to be that well off tomorrow. So just go." He goes, "And I won't question it. No
Yep.
one has a right to question it. If they come to me, I'm gonna say that's between me and him. So leave it alone." So even my boss said, "Go." So he
Yeah.
gave me it's like, "Hey, you need that time so that I could come back and have that
Yeah.
somewhat quality of life, at that point." So yeah, so
It's
that does work.
yeah. It ends up being like
Um,
that work-life balance thing that, I
yeah.
think, you know, the Americans were kind of the worst at that.
Yes, very big time the worst. And I wanted to say, so we're talking about, just taking little things, and this is how I kind of knew we needed to talk about this stuff today. And okay, hold on, the blind man needed, can't lead the blind. Um,
I saw you
as
make
I'm,
the reach for the head, top of the head for the
yeah,
glasses.
do you see
I saw
that?
that. I
Yeah,
saw
I
that.
hate when I do that. So this is today's date. This is my devotional. I'm not going to say it because this is, obviously you don't know when we're watching it, but this is one part of it right here. Uh, you will get through today one step, one moment at a time. That's it.
Yep.
And so at that point, and I'll use Lily's name. I mean, she was worried about the big picture. It's like, no, just stop. What do you need to do? You need to call the doctor. What do you need to do? You need to call Arizona State Retirement System, ask them this. You need to take the baby steps,
Yeah.
because then,
Prioritize, plan,
yeah,
organize it
she
out.
came back Tuesday, and it's like in her mind and in her body, she's like, "Oh, I'm organized. I
Yeah.
made this call. They're going to call me back. I made this. They're going to do this. I made this. They're going to do this."
Yep.
And so everything, she knew that it was at least taken care of or in the process of.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And
and
then
there's
she's better at work.
that brings that quality. Yeah,
And she's better.
totally better at work.
She's more present.
Hmm. And it was cool because like today we were laughing and giggling and talking about things. And I'm like, God, we're back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and she goes, "I'm taking money." I said, "Good, go."
Yeah.
Go do it.
It's beautiful,
Her
dude.
their appointment might be at 10. I'm like, "Don't come back. Why?" I mean, I can stay here till 3:30, 4 o'clock. We're fine. Yes. Ooh, I got more traffic. Ooh, I mean,
And
I think I can deal with that.
but being able to have the conversation that you had with her in a way that's respectful and loving and compassionate, right?
Hmm.
That book, Crucial Conversations, that I think we mentioned before about how do you have that? Because in the past, you might not have been able to do that. I know that I've
Yep.
not been good at those kind of things. You just bottle it up inside because you think that's what being a nice person is. So you
Yeah.
bottle it up and you don't say anything, but then you're really irritated, you know?
Hmm.
And then, sometimes you become passive aggressive and you get little snickety snarky at other little things that they're doing, right? And then you're
Yep.
nitpicking other things or whatever. And then you blow up on something that has nothing to do with this whole pattern that's been going on rather than
Exactly.
addressing the thing from the beginning, right? So,
And that's right where I was. I was getting kind of like, "Juh, juh," I mean, it was little things, which
yeah,
didn't mean anything. But I was going
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, no,
Hang on a second.
we're all in this together.
Yeah.
And by the way, I had to take myself and go, "Dude, you were in her
Shoes.
shoes,
It's not yeah,
years ago, and people took you out, let you take time." I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, my bad, my bad." It was that, it's like God going,
Yeah.
"Dude, do you remember?"
You remember?
Oh, how often we forget. So, but yeah, it's just having compassion for her, realizing like, hey, she just needs a little bit of time.
Yeah,
If it's a Monday, staying an hour and a half, and guess what? It sounds counterproductive, but it's almost like that traffic going home, even though it's busier. I'm like, eh, because
yeah,
I feel good about it.
yeah,
It's kind of weird, you
yeah,
think about like, oh my god, more traffic, I'm stressed out, but it wasn't. It was more like, you know, something good came out of today.
yeah.
Hopefully she's getting something good, and
Yeah.
I'm going home or going wherever. So
If this is
yeah, so
all they
that.
have to deal with so that she can have her time with her husband and when she needs to be with him and take care of him, then I'm okay with this.
Mhm.
I can handle a little bit of traffic for
Yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
both of us sat down and and on that Tuesday, and she said something. I go, "So Lily," I go, "Look at me in the eye." I go, "This job is important in one factor. but it's not important. Your life, your family, your retirement is important. I go, what we do here is going to get done. So
Yeah.
you can't stress about it. I'm not stressing about it. And that was,
Beautiful.
we both needed that conversation at that point.
Yep.
And I will tell you, ugh, it's amazing. People will ask us to do stuff and we're like, we'll get to it. Like, well, you can't do it now. It's like, no, we have a job to do.
Yeah.
And a kid came, and today the kid came down and goes, hey, we just sent you 30 pictures. Can you print them out? Lily looks at me and I go, not right now. I go, I might get to them next week. I go, but we got this from admin that we need to get done. And it's very important because we have a conference here next Wednesday and it's got to be done, blah, blah. And I go, when do you need them? They go, oh, Bobby, by Tuesday. And I go, just so you know, I have to download them. Open your email, download each one individually, then print each one individually. And that's a lot of work for us because I have to download it, put it in a folder so I know where it is. Then I can print it. And it's not like boom, 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 boom. It
Yeah.
takes time. And so I did that and we did something earlier in the week. Someone needed something like that. It's they needed there were passes. They needed them. There were 8 per page. Okay, 8 per page. They wanted them printed, laminated. And I'm like, okay, so that's not, there's more than 2 steps there.
Yeah.
So, by the way, out there in next level real talk land, you're going to learn something. So when you laminate something, it's the outside of the paper is the seal. So if you cut into the paper, that seal is no longer there and it opens up. Okay, because it's like a vacuum seal.
Yeah.
So if you take those 8 and you laminate it and then you cut each one out, it's no longer laminated. So you have to cut. So we had to
Cut them.
print it,
Cut them first, then laminate 'em.
cut each one. Mind you, there's 500 of them. Okay, 500, 500.
Wow.
Cut them, which thank God I have student assistants. Laminate each one, get it through the machine, then cut them all again and make sure that they're all by Mr. Joe, Mr. Smithers, Mr. Jones, Mr. Whoever one of those passes. And so it was like, I'm getting to him. He goes, how long is it going to take? It's going to be a 2 to 3 week process. I'm sorry, but we can't stop and only do that, which would
Yeah.
take me 3 or 4 days maybe to do
Yeah.
it if we just
Full time
stop.
if that's all you did. Yeah.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen. And Leo and I both. She's like, "Hey, did you print those out?" I said, "Nope. There's some new ones that came out." I go, "Not yet. I don't have time. I will get to it." She's like, "Cool." So we're both feeling that like we're actually saying no.
Yes.
My camera. We're saying no, but we're not saying no, no. We're just
Yeah.
saying like, "Hey, our space. This is our space, and we'll
Yeah.
get to it."
Yeah.
You need to understand our time. So that's really helped a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of cool. And
Be
go ahead.
being able to say no, right? We were talking about that, right? As an
Hmm.
act of love, self-love, right? Drawing
Yep.
boundaries and stuff like that, setting proper
Right.
expectations and all of that.
Hmm.
It's
And as we're talking about, taking that day off, we're going from the stop, drop in and breathe, to taking a whole day of yourself
mhm.
time. And then another one is, as we talked about a little bit, it's okay to say no to friends now and then. Okay. Not just to being a friend, but hey, you want to go out and get a bite to eat? Tonight I just need to be home. I just need,
Yeah.
even if just sitting in front of the TV, watching TV or sitting down reading a paper, reading a book, or maybe just actually cleaning, actually doing whatever you need to do, um, but taking that time to say no and just go, you know what, I want to, but I need some time to me,
Yep.
because that one bit of time is huge.
Yep.
It makes that quality of life so much better down the road and up here so
Yeah.
much better.
Yep.
So yeah, so those are some things that are really huge about where I came from of that. And I talked to you about the new famous orator,
Yes.
Jelly Roll.
Yes.
For those out there, and I guess he's more country. I don't think he does anything else really. Country land. Jelly Roll jumped into the scene, and if you don't know Jelly Roll, you got to Google him.
I
Dude
maybe
is
I'll
awesome.
attach a link. I think sometimes when I say, "Oh, I'll put a link," and I forget. I'm like, "Wait, did I say I was gonna put something in one of those previous episodes?" And I can't remember, like, 3 weeks later. I'm like, "I think I
Oh,
s did I
oops.
do it? I don't even remember." So, sorry.
I'm gonna start checking them, guys. Okay,
Yeah. Audit.
the yeah, the audit. What does the teacher do? I'll check his work. There we go. I'll
Yes.
check his work because Sheldon actually does the download. So thank you, Sheldon, for doing all that stuff. Um, So Jelly Roll's song "I'm Not Okay." Okay, those that haven't heard it, "I'm Not Okay." Um, uh, he goes into the song and he says this. This is the second stanza. I'll just read the first part of it. It says, "I'm not okay. I'm barely getting by. I'm losing track of days and losing sleep at night. I am not okay. I'm hanging on by the rails. So if I say I'm fine, just know I learned to hide it well." Which in that just that stanza, that's not the one I really want to talk about, but in that last line, I just know how to hide it well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know what people are going through because they
Yeah.
can hide it really well. So be understand what they're going through and kind of not go to pry into finding what's going on, but just know that hey, something's going on, but they're
Yeah.
hiding it pretty well. So
Yes.
then he goes
Give
into the
giving people some grace that maybe they're
yeah
going through something you're not aware of.
we don't
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
and they don't want to talk to people about it. Open it up, say hey, so they might be
Yep.
going through something, so let's just kind of um, and then he says this. I know I can't be the only one who's holding on for dear life, but God knows, I know when it's all said and done, I'm not okay, but it's all going to be all right. It's not okay, but we're all going to be all right. So right there, I just love that. It's like, I'm not okay right now. I'm not doing well. I'm just
Yeah.
stressing about this. You know what? It's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're all going to
Yep.
be okay.
Yep.
Let's just stop, drop, and breathe.
Yep.
That stop, drop, and breathe maybe for that, as we said, for that minute, maybe for uh, every 3 hours, that maybe for a whole day. You
Yeah.
take a day off from work. I'm not encouraging everyone just take days off work. No, sorry, bosses out there. But I'll tell you what, I would encourage it if someone needed it because guess what? Their productivity is going to be so much better when they come back to work.
Yeah.
It's going to be a ton better.
And and
And it was for me.
and like
So,
we've been saying, and like, it's pretty obvious there's a lot going on in the world right now with so much, the wars and stuff like that. And depending on which way you're looking at politics, but there's a lot of
mhm,
upheaval and stuff like that, a lot of change. Change is always difficult. Again, for my work, I literally manage people through and guide them through a change process that happens. And so part of
mhm.
that is literally just, holding space for people and allowing them to go through the emotions of change, right? Because change is hard no matter what. So
Yes.
kind of
Hmm.
having that little mantra, like it's gonna be okay. We'll make it through,
Yeah.
giving yourself some grace and being okay when you are not feeling your best, to be compassionate towards yourself and how you talk to yourself about that versus, "Oh, buck up, pull up your bootstraps and get going, and what's your problem?" Because sometimes that self-talk is so negative.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but
Totally.
being kind to
The
yourself through that.
Yeah, and totally, that's what I love how you brought that up because in all this process, as I was going through stuff, like you start going through, you're mad at yourself, like, why am I going through this? Or I got to do this. Or you get upset, you get stressed, and I'm gonna use Lily in a very positive sense. So she's going through this, but she goes, you know what? I need to take a day off. So think about yourself.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of everybody else.
right.
Okay, at that point, and we've talked
Yep,
about that before.
yep,
So take care of yourself, get yourself back to where you need to be,
yep,
and get yourself healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. Um, and then you can move forward from there. And still, that doesn't mean you're okay. I'm ready to go. No, still, you got to do that step by step, moment by moment, and just slowly get yourself back to where you need to be. And it's not gonna be perfect. Never
yep,
is.
yep.
But just know that
The j
slowly get yourself to where you want to go. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, life is a journey and a journey is a process or whatever, right? It's the whole
Yep.
thing's a process. So there's
Hmm.
no people think, "Oh, when I get here, I'll be happy," or whatever.
Oh,
Happiness is part of
yes.
the journey, right? The whole thing is a process, and being okay with that and open to that and shifting to that perspective can actually make a difference too, right? Just being, "Okay, this is
Yeah.
what it is right now."
And yeah, enjoy the process, basically,
Yeah.
is what it is. Enjoy the
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
And one of the biggest things is, and this is what I've kind of glad that I've learned this, and I don't know how I learned it. I don't know where I learned it. Who knows? It may have been from you. It may have been from a book. It may have just been from like, you got to deal with this, dude. Um, so like, enjoy what's going on at that moment. Like when we talked about it before, I think on a podcast about when I was going through the divorce, the anxiety that I had, the weird body feelings, and just like, what the hell's going on inside my body? It's like that, not tingling, but just like weird. I can't even
Mhm.
explain the feeling anymore. It's like, what's going on? And that's almost at first I was fighting it. Like, God, get out, get rid of this. I can't feel like this. Then I just started going like, okay, here it comes. Oh, what is that? It's kind of enjoy, like, "Wow, this is weird. I never felt this way before." But I'm teaching going like, "Wow, why is this anxiety coming into me right now? What am I teaching that's making me have this
What's
anxiety?"
going on that's
And I'm
triggering this response, right?
yeah, and I'm feeling this weirdness. I'm like, "Don't fight it. Just gotta, like, just sit and enjoy the like, wow, because it may be a feeling I may never have again. God, I
I
hope I don't have that feeling again, by the
I
way."
I
But,
do I do think
you
that
know?
that's that meaning of, becoming as a child. There's an innocent wonder,
Mhm.
when you're not stuck, you're almost like a scientist exploring what the heck's going on in my body right now. What is this feeling? Where is it located? Why is it so weird? It's irritating. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable or whatever, but you're just sort of tripping out on it a little bit, right? Like
Yeah.
you said, it's almost funny and
Mhm.
weird, right? Like, wow, I'm tripping hard right now. My body's
Yeah.
freaking. And the ability to do that without getting caught in the story of whatever that is, because usually your brain will get caught in a story.
Mhm.
That is really key to allowing these things to flow through you, the energy to flow through you, and then you can release it out. So that's actually a
Mhm.
really huge, deep process. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, there's something I wanna say. But that feeling that you step outside, it's almost like you wanna step outside your body and kinda see what's going on. Go
and the
like, so
witness,
yeah,
becoming
you're
the witness.
witnessing, like, when I was feeling those that weirdness, it's like, "Wow, this is kinda bizarre." I'm like, "Okay, I got this anxiety going on." It's like, "This feels weird." It's almost like, and I no, don't do drugs. It's almost like being on a drug going like, "Wow, this feels
Yeah,
cool." But it was
yeah.
like really stepping out of the moment of where I was and going like, "Okay, what am I feeling?" And just kinda like, as I said, I may never feel that again. I met her, like, with I'm using Lily's experience now. Um, as Lily's going through this, she's like, she could step back and go like, "Wow, so here we are. We're doing this. I'm helping my husband. I'm working on me. I'm working on work. I got retirement." She's like, "Wow, there's so many things." Just almost like step back and go like, "Wow, look what this one person, which is her on her own, looking down, going like, wow, look at me." But just experience and go like, "Okay, this is a hard process I'm going through." You
And
know?
and I will say, if you're somebody listening, if you happen to be listening and you've tried to do something like that and it doesn't work and you end up getting all caught up in the moment, tripped out by whatever's happening, be
Mhm.
kind to yourself. Because
Yes.
when you look at that idea of this embodied practice and being present with yourself and holding space for everything that comes up within you, that is super hard. Like I said, like
Yeah.
you always say, it's simple but not easy. What you're talking about doing in real time when something's literally coming up and the ability to hold mental space and openness for something that's coming on is
Mhm.
really, really, really kind of like advanced level processing. Most people, that takes a lot of time to get to the point. Sometimes people have to do it in therapy sessions. Sometimes people are
Mhm.
using, drugs and chemicals and stuff like that to alter the space so that they will not freak out and calm down. It depends on the depth of the trauma and stuff like that that's going on.
Mhm.
But those things aren't necessarily easy to do, even with things that may seem less
No.
critical. It's not an easy space to be able to do that. It's not a simple,
Mhm.
easy thing to be able to witness in the moment of trauma when your body's going through it on any level. So,
Yeah.
um, I
And
say
like you
hats
said,
off to you, David, but also if
yeah.
you're hearing this and saying, "Oh, I can't do that," or "I tried it," or "It didn't work," or whatever, it's not a simple thing to do, so
Yeah. So just so you know, I'm not tooting my horn, but Sheldon says that what I did was crazy fast.
super
So
fast, super
and so
fast,
I don't
I
know.
think.
I'm like, wow. I thought I was like, well, that
Yeah.
that took forever to get
Nope,
through. He's like, nope, you.
nope, nope, nope,
so
nope.
but and understand, it's just each time you may be feeling that, and you may have that moment like, hey, I'm really enjoying this. Also, boom, it goes away, and you get caught up in the moment. Again, don't get mad at yourself. Don't berate yourself. Just say, hey, I I got to feel that for a moment. Okay, next time go a little bit longer. Okay, so it's
Mhm.
going to be a long process if
Yeah.
you can even get to that thing.
Yep.
But know that it's just in, I say enjoy, but at that point you're not enjoying it. But you know what I mean. Enjoy and experience the journey of what's going through, because it's like, hey, I remember back in my life I was going through this, and oh, that was so hard. That was so this. That was or the good parts. Enjoy that journey of the good parts. Like, wow, this is so much fun. I remember I'm hanging out with Aria. We're doing something the other day. I just for a quick moment stepped back and went, "Wow, look where I am." My
Yeah.
grandson's over here hollering at me. My granddaughter's over here telling me to help her do something. I'm like, "This is cool."
Yeah,
But
it's
take that
beautiful.
moment in.
Yeah.
If I just got caught up in it, then I'm like, "Wait, I didn't get that moment." I
Yeah.
got the moment, but I didn't really go, "Oh wow, look at this. This is kind
Yeah.
of cool,"
Yeah.
and then move on. So,
Yeah.
so now I've got that moment up here.
Yeah.
So
It's beautiful.
yeah,
It's beautiful.
so it's
It's
kind of just enjoy that process. Try to find a way to enjoy the process, and even though it's a struggle at times,
Yeah,
um, and just try to smile through it as much as you can.
yeah,
Sometimes it has to be a fake smile, but
yeah,
yeah. But
and it's
and
okay
I
if you're not
as
okay.
yeah, it's okay if you're not okay.
It's
It
all gonna work
totally
out.
is, because we're all there. And as the order said, he goes, I know I cannot be alone.
Yeah,
I cannot be the only one, which
yeah,
we all think that, I'm the only one going through this. Well, no, you're not. There's others going through it. And if there's people to talk to about that, then good. But if they're not, don't think you're the only one. Talk to someone. So it is okay to not be okay.
yeah.
Okay. And to say no at times. Say, no, I'm not going to go to work today. I need to get this done. No, I can't go out tonight because I actually need to stay home and get myself ready. But do that in a nice way. Don't say no in a mean way. Say no in a nice way. Please. That's just gonna say. So
And if there's anybody listening out there right now who is listening and, isn't feeling okay, we're sending you big
mhm, please.
cosmic hugs and,
Mhm,
lots of love and compassion and understanding for everything because it is challenging for some people and for all of us right
mhm.
now. I just think it's just a lot of shifting and changing going on. And um,
Yeah, and reach out to someone.
yeah, reach out to
Just find
somebody.
that friend or somebody. Somebody will they will put their arms around you, believe me. Just
Yeah,
reach out.
reach out to us if you
So,
need to.
oh, yeah.
Send us a comment, send us a message if if you're comfortable with that. That we're open to
Mhm.
receiving all of that. And
Yes,
we
because
wish.
if you put that in the comments and say, give us some information on how to contact you, we will contact you.
Yeah,
Just so you know that. So we don't want you to, if you say there's nobody in this world, well, you got two people right here.
yeah,
I guarantee you have two people that will talk to you.
yeah, for
So,
sure.
and if you don't like our ugly mugs, then there's a beautiful wife of Sheldon's that will always talk to people.
Right.
So,
Absolutely, absolutely.
but yeah, please, we joke around about that, but it's real. So
Yep,
if you're at a spot where you think there's just no one anywhere in this world that can help you, please reach out because there's two people that would love to talk to you.
yep.
So, yeah. So,
I
on that
think
note,
that's a
yeah,
wrap.
yeah, because we want you to reach out to us and just remember, it's okay not to be okay.
Yep.
It's okay to say no, and just take that time for yourself. Stop, drop, breathe.
Thanks for joining us,
Yep. Have a great week. Make sure you keep that smile on.
and thanks for watching this episode of Next Level Real Talk podcast. We would love your support by liking, subscribing, sharing with your friends, and posting comments uh, below. It really does help us.
And if you're new to our podcast, we hope you go back and listen to a couple of our previous episodes. And again, thanks for listening to Next Level Real Talk.